Hello friends, welcome back to my channel PPT Hub. Today in this lecture I am going to discuss about the impacts of COVID-19. COVID-19 has many impacts in all aspects of our life such as economic, social, cultural, environmental and educational. First let me discuss about the economic impacts. According to PIDE, there will be losses of jobs in millions, particularly for the semi-skilled and daily wagers. Around 2.4% of the annual GDP will be lost due to COVID-19, which is enough to send the country into recession. The middle and lower income groups struggle to earn enough income to feed themselves and their families, which result in higher inflation, joblessness and complete collapse of economy. Estimate of GDP loss is around 2% per month. Real risk of global recession. Service sector heavily hit. Unemployment impact are difficult to assess. Severe blow to globalization, production, supply chain, trade, travel, tourism, and international students' mobility. Nationalist tendency is very powerful with probably long-lasting effects even after the crisis. Similarly strong multilateral framework and organizations such as European Union are put to a very severe test. The rise of China in the global arena gets a very serious setback. So in this slide I am going to discuss about the social, personal and well-being uh, due to COVID-19. Huge negative impact on the equity, both crisis, policy measures and consequences amplify inequalities. Confinement very hard for the families living in poverty, poor housing condition, bad health and other vulnerabilities. Psychological impact on the individual still unknown, but probably severe mental health impact, stress in household, increase in child abuse and intra-family violence, increase in population, increase in depression and anxiety. So in this slide I am going to discuss about impact on education, how COVID-19 impact our education system. Estimate that COVID affecting learning opportunities student all around the world. Impressive switch to distance education, online learning, e-learning and very negative impact on the equity. Disadvantaged students particularly hit disruption in assessment and end of year examination disrupt studies. Increase flexibility as part of institutional responses. Immediate measures taken by universities laying off staff on temporary contracts. Disinvesting in young researcher will have severe impact on the longer term research potential by cutting off their talent. Now let me discuss how COVID impact students. Overall students enrolled will increase. Like in any crisis, students are postponing graduation to avoid entering a labor market in crisis. Many students will not be able to finalize important parts of curriculum such as field research, internship, etc., which are needed for the graduation. Enrollment in universities is a better option than being unemployed. Higher education students are perceived to be high risk containment. COVID-19 also impact on teaching and learning. Capacity of many institutions to replace face-to-face delivery by various models of distance education should be praised. Yet many mistakes are made. Need for the comprehensive evaluation of real-world experiments. Need to consider long-term integration of e-learning in a multimodal delivery. Still, lots of work to be done in assessment, evaluation, study career guidance, etc. Students abandon studies and indulge in useless activities and become lazy, killing their precious time. They practice plagiarism and cheating in online class, most of them. COVID also has impacts on our culture and religious impacts. So let me discuss. It has been medically established that gathering of all sorts are responsible for spreading COVID-19. This gathering could be linked to religious festivity, prayers, mass migration, travel among communities affected external lockdown. Preachers and Pakistani pilgrims who are returning from Iran are considered to be the main source of spreading of COVID-19 in Pakistan. This gathering complicated this situation further because of certain religious rituals that required the sharing of meals, water, and other activities. Radical Hindu groups linked the pandemic to Indian Muslims by slandering and blaming them. The government and institutions also have to overcome their weakness in dealing with the religious affairs. There is a need to encourage religious scholarship instead of religious brands, parties, and sects and individuals. Post pandemic Pakistan should have a clear vision about its future. Now, let us analyze that what should it like be after COVID-19. After COVID-19, COVID-19 has transformed our lives in many ways that will leave a permanent mark on all of humanity. While it is impossible to predict the exact type of scar that COVID-19 will leave, we do know that the world after this catastrophe will look very different. Increase in unemployment, poverty, decrease in average income, decrease in productivity, and industrial services. The worrying part is that the economic impact of COVID 19 will be worse for developing countries. International trade, globalization might take a hit. The fact that the impact of COVID 19 was made possible through the interconnected world system is not likely to be forgotten. Supply chains around the world have come under this stress as a result of this same interconnectedness in this crisis. COVID 19 might shift the global power structure from the Western world towards East Asia, ignoring the possibility of second wave of infection in the future. Current evidence has pointed towards the effectiveness of countries like China, Taiwan, and Korea. These four major changes could give birth to a completely new world after the current crisis is over. As frightening as the implication of these changes might be, it is important to confront them because we might have to inhabit this world and live with the coronavirus. So, this is my analysis. What do you think? Tell me about in the comment section. So, thank you for listening.